Welcome back to building a Jaguar X-Type race car.
Before we get started, I just want to say thank you for everyone that's given us loads of kind words and comments on the last video. This is very new to us doing these videos, so thank you for being very patient with us. If you have got any questions, pop them in the comments box below, and if you are enjoying what we're doing, make sure you subscribe, because then you'll be notified when the next video comes out and you can see what we've been up to with this car.
So in this episode, we're going to try and get the seating position sorted, finalising the seat bolted in, the steering column made and fitted in a comfy position, and the pedals fitted, and get all that finalised so we don't have to come back to it in the future.
Let's get to it.
So with the seat just thrown in there, just to see how it goes, we can see that it's sloping outwards and sitting too close to the roll cage on the outside. I'm going to try and move it closer into the centre to give me a bit more room on my elbows and a bit more space for my head in the top there. So let's go inside the car and see what we can figure out. To get the seat closer into the centre of the car, we've had to put a small cut there. We're going to have to box this in to then sit the seat slightly into the centre tunnel of the car, just to give it that extra room on the outside here. So now I'm just going to mark up where to put the bend to box this floor section in. Right, so now we've got the seat boxes mainly tacked in, welded in. I've got a bit more finishing off to do on them to get them fully up to strength. As you can see there, that's where the seat's going to sit. There's a couple of holes on the seat bases themselves to be able to move forwards and backwards and up and down. Enough adjustment to get to where we need to be. So now with the seat fixed in position where we need it to be, we can move on to getting the gear shifter in the right place and get the column where we need it as well. Right, so moving on to the steering column now. We've got the column we've made up ourselves here. We've got a quick release weld on boss that goes onto the steering wheel like that. Nice, easy, accessible, so you can get in and out of the car nice and quickly. We've got a bearing at the top and a bearing at the bottom that will sit in the outer column we've got here. So the bearings will sit at top and bottom. That'll be welded into the dash bar. Been not strong enough for us to give a bit of racing with. And then we've got the bottom bit here that we've made up out of the standard X-Type parts, because it's a specialist clamp onto the steering rack. So we made that up. We'll now show you how it fits in the car. So we've got the column in one piece now, all built up. We've just got to get it affixed to the car. We've had it in a rough place already, just got to get it set now in a nice comfy position to match the seat. Okay, Craig, I think we can go somewhere there. Okay, feels nice. You want to tap the back side? So now that tack there, we can get a real feel for how the car's going to be. Got a nice movement, a good feel on that. So we'll get that welded up now. So we're going to get this intermediate section welded up now that links the rack to the column, and then we can get it all fitted and check the steering works okay.
with Mark welding the linkage up for the steering, I'm working on the gear shift riser. So this is the gear shift out of the X-Type. It's a pretty basic plastic thing that you get in most of your modern front wheel drive cars. But in the race car it's a little bit too low, so what we're going to do is build a little riser for it. So Mark's sat in the car and we've put 2 blocks there, and we've figured out this is kind of going to be roughly the height we're going to want it. So what we've done, we've gone to our favourite CAD aided design, which is cardboard. We always tend to do this instead of like going straight to CAD on the computer, because obviously it's good to get an idea in real space what it's going to look like. So the idea is that's going to sit on there, and then this is going to give a nice area at the back for switches and stuff like that, and then we can hide all the wiring and the cables inside there. Obviously this is going to have some cutouts, and we're going to probably end up making it out of aluminium or aluminum if you're in America. So let's go over to the car and then we'll see what this looks like, and then we'll get the steering column in as well.
So now I've got the link piece made that joins the column to the rack. Can now put a steering wheel on and actually turn the wheels. So now we'll move on to getting the gear shifter in the right place and making that feel nice so we can get quick changes. Right, so with the cardboard template that Craig's made earlier, we can now put it into the car and have a look in real world how it's going to feel and if things are going to be in the right place. So to get that set there, it feels a nice distance from the steering wheel. It's easy to reach, and so you may get some quick gear changes, which is important. So we can now go ahead and convert this to a CAD file on the computer and cut it out of aluminium. So now we're going to move on to the pedal box. We've got this one from OBP, Optimum Balance Products. Thought it looked quite nice, fairly well built. It's going to do the job. It's got 2 brake master cylinders, so we can fine tune the balance between front and rear, and a single hydraulic clutch master cylinder. We've thrown together this board quickly just to act as a heel plate for getting the seating position comfortable and making sure the pedal box is in the right place, and to mount the BMW electronic throttle pedal. So previously we've had the pedals sat around there, and that's where we've drilled 2 holes so we know where to put them. And then we go ahead to the mounting system. So on the computer we threw together a CAD file and then cut out this plate with 2 sets of holes in, so we can move the pedal back 50mm for short drivers if needed, and the recess holes there so we can weld this into the floor down there so it's nice and strong and gives a nice steady base for the pedal to sit on. So with that placed in there in the correct position, we'll mark out where all those holes are for the nuts to sit, and we can cut some holes and then clean up round the edge so we can then weld this in and get it done. So with the plate now made and the nuts on the back, we've drilled the holes in the floor for the nuts to fit into. We've got that in there, so now we'll tack it in and try the pedal box to make sure everything feels right, and you can get all the pedals nicely. So let's get the pedals bolted in.
Well, say it, Mark, say it.
Well, it is going somewhere because it's only got 2 bolts in, but I don't know why it's still filming.
Because it's funny.
It's not. It's not funny.
It's live. It's live. live in the workshop.
Hello. Stop filming, Craig. What are you filming for?
Filming because it's funny.
It's not.
Just try the pedals.
Right, so now we've got the pedals in, just on a couple of bolts, just to know that they're there safely. Even with my boots on and the placement of the pedals, I feel I'm going to be able to get those. Again, big boots on, so I'm clearing the steering column now, which is going to be plenty of space when I've got my race trainers on. So quite happy with that. We'll get those out, get the plate welded in and get them bolted in properly. With the seat in position now, the steering column working as it should, we've bolted the gear shift pedestal in, so that's now in its final position. The pedal box we know is now mounted and bolted down. Bit more finishing off to do on the foot plate, but we'll get that done at a later date. So now it's time to move on to some different things.
So in the next episode, we're going to get the engine in, a mock-up engine we've got sitting right behind you, and we're going to have a look at making the manifolds for both the throttle bodies and the exhaust. So that's going to be very, very exciting.
We're also going to drop it down onto its wheels for a couple of reasons. We need to start working out the suspension design, how it's going to sit, how low we need it, and a couple other adjustments we're going to make to it, and try and get a weight, roughly a weight of the car, so we can then work out some suspension designs and get a head start on making that.
So thank you for watching. Really appreciate all the comments that everyone's left on the last video, and I hope you're enjoying this build as much as we are. We're absolutely loving it, and we're so excited to see how this turns out. If you've got any questions, again, drop them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe for the next video, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.